In the heart of a remote forest stood an ancient mansion, abandoned and shrouded in mystery. For decades, no one dared to venture near it, for the locals whispered of its haunted past. They spoke of strange lights flickering in the windows at night, eerie sounds echoing through the trees, and the legend of the ghostly woman who wandered its halls. One chilly autumn evening, a curious and adventurous young woman named Clara decided to uncover the truth behind the tales. Armed with a flashlight, a notebook, and her determination, she made her way through the dense woods, the path illuminated by the pale glow of the full moon. The air grew colder as she approached the mansion, and an unsettling silence enveloped the forest, broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl. The mansion loomed before her, its towering silhouette casting long shadows on the ground. Vines twisted around its decaying facade, and broken windows stared like hollow eyes. Clara hesitated at the entrance, feeling the weight of history and mystery pressing down on her. With a deep breath, she pushed open the heavy wooden doors, which groaned in protest. The scent of decay and dust filled her nostrils as she stepped inside, her flashlight beam slicing through the oppressive darkness. The grand foyer was a picture of eerie elegance, with cobweb-covered chandeliers hanging from the ceiling and tattered drapes swaying gently in an unseen breeze. Clara's footsteps echoed as she moved deeper into the mansion, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. Portraits of stern-faced ancestors lined the walls, their eyes seemingly following her every move. She paused at one portrait in particular, a woman with piercing blue eyes and an enigmatic smile, her expression both welcoming and foreboding. As she explored, Clara noticed strange, unsettling details, a portrait of a woman with eyes that seemed to follow her, a mirror that reflected not her own image, but that of a shadowy figure standing behind her, and a grandfather clock that ticked steadily despite having no visible hands. The floorboards creaked under her weight, and the air grew colder with each step. She could hear faint whispers that seemed to come from the walls themselves, the soft murmurs of long-forgotten secrets. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, Clara discovered an old diary lying on a dusty bedside table. Its pages were yellowed and brittle, but she could still make out the delicate handwriting. The diary belonged to a woman named Eleanor, who had lived in the mansion over a century ago. Eleanor wrote of her loneliness and despair, her longing for a husband who had gone to war and never returned. The entries became increasingly despondent, culminating in a final, tear-stained page where Eleanor spoke of ending her suffering. As Clara read on, the temperature in the room dropped noticeably, and she felt a cold breath on the back of her neck. She turned quickly, but there was no one there. The air grew heavy with a sense of sorrow and loss, and Clara realized she was not alone. She could hear faint sobbing, and the walls seemed to close in around her, pressing the weight of a century's worth of grief upon her shoulders. Suddenly, the lights flickered, and the door slammed shut with a force that shook the walls. The room plunged into darkness, save for the dim beam of Clara's flashlight. She heard a soft, mournful whispering, and the figure of a woman began to materialize before her. It was Eleanor, her translucent form shimmering in the gloom. Her once beautiful face was etched with lines of sorrow, and her eyes, though hollow, radiated an overwhelming sense of loss. Eleanor. Clara's voice trembled as she called out. The ghostly woman nodded, her eyes filled with a deep, unending sadness. She gestured towards the diary, and Clara understood. Eleanor was trapped in this mansion, her spirit unable to find peace. The young woman knew she had to help. Determined, Clara searched the mansion for anything that might set Eleanor free. She found an old locket hidden beneath the floorboards, containing a photograph of Eleanor and her husband. The locket's chain was broken, as if it had been torn off in a fit of despair. Holding the locket, she returned to the bedroom and held it out to the apparition. With a smile of gratitude, Eleanor's spirit touched the locket. A warm, golden light enveloped her, and she began to fade. The oppressive chill lifted, replaced by a sense of tranquility. As Eleanor's spirit disappeared, the mansion seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. The air grew warmer, the shadows receded, and the whispers ceased. Clara left the mansion as dawn broke, the first rays of sunlight dispelling the shadows. She knew that Eleanor's spirit was finally at peace, and the haunted mansion would no longer be a place of fear. The forest, once shrouded in darkness, now felt alive and welcoming. Birds chirped, and the scent of pine and earth filled the air, rejuvenated by the morning light. The legend of the ghostly woman would continue to be told, but now, it would end with a tale of redemption and release, thanks to Clara's bravery. As she walked away from the mansion, Clara couldn't help but glance back one last time. In the soft morning light, the old house didn't seem quite so menacing anymore. She felt a sense of accomplishment and a deep connection to the history she had uncovered. The notebook she carried was now filled with notes and sketches, a testament to her extraordinary night. Back in the village, Clara shared her experience with the townspeople. They listened in awe, their skepticism gradually giving way to belief. The mansion, once a source of fear, became a symbol of resilience and the enduring power of love. Eleanor's story, once a tale of sorrow, transformed into one of hope and redemption. And Clara, the brave young woman who faced the unknown, became a local legend herself, inspiring others to explore the mysteries that lay hidden in their world. Years later, Clara often visited the mansion, now a well-tended historical site. The villagers had restored it, turning it into a place where history was honored and Eleanor's story was shared with visitors. The mansion's once dark halls were now filled with light, laughter, and the echoes of new memories being made. And every so often, Clara would stand in the room where she had first met Eleanor's spirit, feeling a gentle, reassuring presence, knowing that some connections, though forged in the shadows, could last forever.